You are live on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review. As always, joined by James. How you going, James? What's made you happy this week?
The Mothman Prophecies is getting a 4K release.
No way.
So very excited.
That's exciting. Recently, in the last few years, we got a Blu-ray release through imprint, so that's happening quite quickly.
Yeah.
No Fallen?
No fooling, mister.
We're also joined by Callum. What's got you through the week, Callum?
EverQuest.
Yeah, the new EverQuest came out.
Yeah.
We have a very special guest on the show tonight as well.
What about you, Nathan?
I'm just trying to escape it, mate.
Okay, that's all right. You can skip it.
I guess. I guess
it.
just. I guess keep it on the theme of my last week, just continuing admiring Stranger Things 4K box set.
What season are you up to?
I'm almost finished season 1.
Okay.
And then it looks so nice. The Arrow kind of transfer is delicious.
Yeah, they do good work.
And I had a nice weekend. I bought some new work pants. I mean, it's not exciting, but
yeah, it's always good to.
It's always good. Yeah. We have a very special guest with us tonight. Movie editor, TV show editor, everything editor extraordinaire, Ben Joss. Now, Ben, you have made or you've been a part of the team for the new movie Wilderness, which is coming out at MIFF this year.
That's right.
But first, what has made you happy in the last week?
I downloaded, what's it called? Expedition 33.
Oh,
I've been very much enjoying
that's one
it.
of my favourite games.
You're speaking our language.
Surprisingly, it's not what I expected. I didn't expect.
Are you a
massively
JRPG
melodramatic in all its cines. It's fantastic.
It's great. So the movie, whatever. Let's talk Expedition 33 for the next hour. No.
Are you a JRPG guy, Ben?
Sorry, say again?
Are you an RPG guy?
Look, I haven't traditionally been, but I dived into Baldur's Gate last year, and I liked that for a while, and then got bored.
Yeah.
And I heard that this one is a little bit more accessible in that RPG space, so I decided to wait for it to be cheap and dive in.
That's a beautiful game.
Yeah, that will make me happy
it is.
too.
Yeah.
I guess we get straight into it. So, I guess in your words, how would you describe this movie, Wilderness?
God. I'd call it it's a coming of middle-age film.
Yeah.
I'd describe it as two middle-aged women go for who are estranged, meet up again, but through happenstance, and go for a road trip, and then they go for a hike, and they explore their relationship and the relationship of the immediate families. And by about the start of the third act, you realise the conversation they were having was something else entirely.
That's a really good way to put it. And we're sucker for kind of like road trip stories, I guess.
Yeah.
It's always a good vehicle, no pun intended, to examine relationships and these kinds of themes and stories, and it worked really well for me. I think I would describe it as just like a simple relationship story too. It's just about the relationship between, it's a character drama that happens to be in a van.
Yeah, and it's also like once they get out of Melbourne, like also I've lived in Melbourne my whole life, so I'm biased. But when you're actually in the city, I'm like, God, the city is so ugly. But then when they get outside the city, I'm like, God, Australia is so beautiful.
It is.
That's what I was thinking watching the film. Some of the locations blew me away. I was like, I didn't realise there was such natural beauty in our state. I mean, you can find beautiful places everywhere in Australia.
Yeah.
But to me, maybe it's just because, we grew up looking at the bush on TV, whatever. My imagination tells me that Australia is just bush everywhere.
No.
But there's all kinds of rolling plains in this film, and it just looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It does look gorgeous. Although I did the Leonardo point at the power plant because we drove past somewhere to Benstow that one time. We're like, I'm in there. But yeah, it is a spectacular looking movie. Again, we're going to dance around it a little bit because we don't want to spoil anything. But I'm like, quite a lot of the movie's broad appeal is cinematography is amazing. Yeah. Just the nature, the sounds, the look, the picture of it. So like what?
Yeah, Ellery Ryan is a master, and we were very fortunate to be able to work with him again. And also the production, being able to get an entire crew and some 8K cameras up the mountain. Was an effort in itself. We were up there in November and we actually got snowed in.
Wow.
Just cool fun when you shoot in Melbourne. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's start of November and the producer's car got snowed in up on the mountain and couldn't get home for a day.
Jeez.
4 seasons in a day.
That's it.
Classic.
Well, there's actually a scene in the film that where the weather was incredible. Without giving it away, there's sort of an emotional climax at the top of the hill, and we picked the location for the incredible vista that you would see while this great drama is unfolding. But just as we're shooting it, it completely clouded it over.
You didn't plan it?
That was like, how did they do that? Did they plan that? That was so beautiful and amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah.
Like it set the dramatic tone for the moment, and it was entirely appropriate for the scene that we were playing. It was.
That's awesome. I assumed it was planned. You just looked on the calendar for the day it was going to rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, look, we got one day, maybe one afternoon to get this scene done, and then we have to wait another 3 months for similar conditions. You're just like, it is what it is.
No way.
Like old school filmmaking.
Yeah,
it's like,
got lucky.
We got 5 minutes until the sun is in the wrong place. Let's go.
Yeah.
In terms of...
No, we were
Sorry, continue.
Sorry, go on.
No, you're okay. Continue, please.
Oh no, I was just saying that the weather was. We were lucky with the weather. Really, we were outside a lot, and we didn't really have any rain cover for any scenes that we got rained out of. We were super fortunate with all that. It was just luck of the draw. But also, these amazing. We shot on the Sony Venice, the latest version of those cameras, and they can basically see in the dark, and they can shoot at 8K as well. So they were very adaptable at adjusting to the changing lightscape as we're filming up the mountain.
Well, that's one thing I thought was quite notable about this movie. I didn't really have too much trouble seeing what was going on in the dark scenes. I thought it was pretty accessible, and I could see what I needed to see throughout all of those dark kind of environments at night. And it didn't distract me, in some major movies.
For context, Ben, we always complain on the show that Hollywood movies all are too dark now.
There is a trend for super dark and undersaturated films. I'm quite excited that I do tend to feel like this film does have a sort of an old school look to it. It feels like a drama from the late 80s, early 90s in terms of its composition, its look, and sort of style of drama that it is. It's
definitely
we don't do that very much anymore, which is a real shame, especially for cinema. Like you might get something like this in a smaller format, but aiming for this level of drama at the cinema, especially Australian cinema, I think that's quite a bold statement in itself.
Yeah. In terms of the way the movie looks, every project is different. I'm sure your job has varied from project to project. Were you in charge or had anything to do with the color grade of this film?
I was a part of I was supervising. I was a post supervisor on the show as well. So I was involved in the color grade. But I left that all to the colorist.
Okay,
and to and Ellery to find the look of the film on their own. They're more than qualified to do it. We had Trish. Oh God, I've forgotten her last name.
Trish
as colorist, and she's done all the big films, so she was just incredible at really.
The only reason I ask is because it's something we talk about all the time. Like Nathan was talking about the lighting. A lot of Hollywood movies, they don't seem to really nail it for the color grade. They all look. There's lots of browns, lots of grays. Everything's
flat.
kind of flat looking. Where this film really highlights the colors of the natural Australian wilderness.
Yeah,
and also even there's a scene in a bar. During the road trip sequence. And that kind of looked nice, and you could tell it's a smoky kind of thing, and it just looked really nice and warm.
Even we'll call it the music scene. There's lots of colors. There's lots going on, and I was really happy with how the movie kind of looked as well. Just the colors. I could see what was happening in the dark scenes.
Yeah, if this was a Netflix original, let's just say, chances are a lot of that color is going to be sucked right out.
Yeah.
So it was really like you said, it's like a film we might have seen in the 90s or the 80s. It was I could actually the colors on the screen, and it's my big pet peeve is that we'll go to see a movie and just a general release film, and there's no color in it at all.
Yeah.
Digger, I'm a massive Tom Cruise fan. I'm a tragic. But the trailer for Digger, it's all the saturation's gone, and it's a creative decision. But it's if you can put colour in a film, why not put colour in a movie?
Well, especially with the tools we've got now, we can put so much colour in the film.
Yeah.
It tends to go in cycles about where people want to take colour. I mean, I remember when I was, back in the late 90s, the whole thing was to desaturate all the reds and get this very blue-green look on everything, called it the exit films look. And that was a trendy thing for a while, and then DSLRs came out, and shallow depth of field was the trendy thing for a while, and now we've got I don't know where we're at now. Yeah, now we're trying to try and be cool by showing as little as possible on the screen. And I personally find it pretty annoying too. I much prefer these sort of well saturated, correctly exposed, well composed pictures. It's not a dying art, but it seems to be not the thing that people gravitate towards anymore. Ellery, he had a light meter on set, which is sounds silly, but you don't see that very often anymore. Most people seem to want to shoot the histogram rather than actually go through go through what's on the lens and sort of go for that. I've never worked with another DP who, just a basic LUT, which is, just without having to treat the rushes on the way in, and it just all looked and matched perfectly. Like, we didn't have to do any great sort of modification to the way it looked during the edit. It just all matched. Whereas other DPs I've worked with, there's an expectation that you're going to put a really heavy grade on the rushes before you even start cutting it. And I find that doesn't give you a great education as to what the material you've got is.
Yeah.
It's just great working with an old school DP who knows what he's doing.
So when you were working and you got shots, reverse shot of maybe they were shot at different times of the day, you didn't have to worry about, this one's in sunlight and this one's clouded over. No.
Other than that one scene we were talking about before, where we were literally losing light, and so everything was getting darker and darker. But I think in the edit and in the final grade, I ended up pulling it right back anyway. We made it 10 times darker than it was when we shot it. But yeah, no. Look, Ellery's ability to match everything through the glass is second to none. It's a real, it's a lost art.
I think we're at an interesting point too. We'll say Hollywood and the global kind of major movie system, studio system, and Australian films, is that globally we're also seeing a return to film, with high-profile directors saying they're going to be shooting all the movies on film again, and Kodak opening up its laboratories again for film processing, all these kinds of things, and also local Australian movies doing quite well, as we're saying, with having colour in their movies, having some more interesting genre films coming out. It's a good local industry at the moment. We're seeing lots of good Aussie films.
Actually, that's actually reminds me, Ben, you've been in the industry for a while. We've talked to some other filmmakers who, Australian filmmakers who there was the 90s boom, and then everything kind of died out in Australia, and the industry just kind of was never the same. But in the last few years, we've been seeing a lot of really cool Aussie indie movies that we really, really liked, and some of which are doing really well, overseas in the US. Do you feel there's a resurgence, a Aussie, an
Aussie comeback tour? Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? I don't know if it's necessarily an the last, even my partner's last film that he made was Late Night with the Devil, which some people are surprised to find out is an Australian film.
Yeah.
We were at the MIFF premiere for that too. That was the first MIFF we did for the station.
Yeah.
I thought I recognised you.
And that's a great movie too.
Oh, we love that movie so much.
Yeah, look, and it's great. And Leviticus is smashing it out of the park at the moment as well. It seems like the genre stuff in particular is really finding a place overseas.
Yeah.
Australian drama is probably it's fine. Drama in itself in the cinema is finding it difficult to get noticed.
Yeah. The 90s were...
it's all a challenge. And it goes through different stages. When I started out, there was a lot more drama on TV as well. So there was plenty of...
I think we like to blame Marvel for that, to be honest. In terms of the cinema trends, I think people don't have as much attention span anymore. And I think, if you go to the movies, all the popular movies are either in our area, like international films, which cater to a more niche audience, or they're big Marvel movies with a joke every 30 seconds. And I think part of it is like audiences don't necessarily have the attention span for a slow burn drama.
It's also, we've talked about like movies are so expensive to go and see now, and cost of living and stuff. So it's like people want to spend their money on Spider-Man and not on a small indie drama.
Although, having said that, we're still able to go see The Invite and some other local kind of smaller scope dramas, but we have to go out of our way to go to somewhere like a Palace Cinema or an independent cinema rather than a Hoyts or a Village. So it's still accessible, but I wish there were more of them.
I wish there was more of it too. I was always drawn to drama. That's sort of my bag for cinema and movie making if I've got the option. It's just, it's cyclical, and it is all those things you mentioned. I think it's people got used to 2.5 hour long. Movies are expensive. It's not a cheap night out, and people want bang for buck. And so a 2.5 hour film where you're going to be blown out of your seat every 10 seconds feels like great value for money. Whereas a slow burn but really beautiful film is only, you're only going to go see it if you've got the cast or you come from recommendation. It's more difficult to sell, I think. And it's just there's different audiences who are going to the cinema anymore. I mean, we're very much with this film aiming for the, over 45 female skewed audience who are actually, the numbers I think show they are actually going to the cinema, and they go in groups and they take their friends. So it is somewhat strategic to sort of aim for a film like this in the dramatic space anyway.
I also think this film will be well served amongst hipsters in Brunswick. It has ecological concern. It has kinds of other trends and themes in the film are represented, and I think kind of like a more hipster audience, inner city audience, regardless of age, would still probably enjoy this film.
Not even hipster, it's just like, a good drama, a good story is captivating and you can relate to it. Even, we're not middle-aged mums, but like we all really enjoyed it because everyone can relate to feelings of like life crisis, like not sure where your life's going.
Think
and
the age of cultural cringe is over, because I watched every Australian movie we've seen in like the last 4 years. I think I've pretty much enjoyed, and it's just like we're finally getting to the stage where I can watch an Australian movie and I'm like, this is just a high quality drama. There's nothing like, we're not trying to throw like a Crocodile Dundee hat at the audience. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or anything like that. It's just like what Wilderness is to me was just a high quality drama. Like it might be for, 45-year-old women will probably enjoy it. It's like, I say it's a mum movie because like I know that our mothers would probably love this film. But when I'm watching it, I cared about the characters. I cared about the nature concerns. The nature shots were beautiful. Like it's just a really well-made movie. So I think that anyone who loves cinema is going to get a lot out of it.
I think so. I remember. I wonder where that cultural cringe, originated from. I think there was I certainly remember at the start of my career in the late 90s and early noughties, there was an oversupply of either quirky comedies, sort of everyone trying to capitalise on the success of Muriel's Wedding or The Castle, and on the other side of that, the drama space seemed to be filled with, really dreary heroine movies.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every single city in Australia was just full of, like the urban landscape was just filled with people filled with problems. And they were kind of external problems, heroin's a problem and people not coping is bad and all that. But it's difficult for a regular audience to go and relate to that. And that's not the sort of film you're going to go and take your family to go and see or take a bunch of mates to go and see. It's really depressing.
100%. And I think that was a larger trend. That was more than just movies too. I remember Australia has a literature problem during that same period that's exactly the same. The whole Tim Lenton kind of era of Australian literature is just filled with people trying not to kill themselves day by day, basically. And why would you want to read that? Like, we had to read these kinds of stories in high school, and I remember thinking, this is not going to get anyone into enjoying reading.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's nothing wrong with that type of story, but yeah, it became oversaturated. Especially in the Australian, like, indie scene. And
as we're talking about, you want to bring a family to see a movie, it's not necessarily a good way to foster growth if every movie is sad.
There was another director, I'm interested in your opinion on this, Ben. another director we talked to, or was it La Rosa? I can't remember.
I
don't know.
Said that Australian directors and creatives are finally catching up to what audiences want to see. So like when the Talk to Me came out, and those brothers, their names forgetting me. Yeah,
the Philippou brothers.
Yeah, like they had that like lightning in a bottle horror hit on their hands, and then suddenly all these other Aussie creatives started making genre movies. And he said that finally we're starting to catch up with what people want to watch at home as well as at the pictures, rather than just the drama. So I think
and it's complicated too, because the way that you fund films in Australia generally has some sort of government, contribution to it, and they're not necessarily as excited about a more commercial proposition, because they feel that the commercial space should be handling that itself. So. Films and we're unashamedly trying to be kind of broad. We're not looking for a niche audience. We're wanting everyone to find a place to enjoy this film. So it's kind of unique from that perspective as well. It's not genre. It's not trying to be too coolsy. It's playing to normal humans interacting with each other, crying with each other, I think they're all things that we really relate to. And I think also one of the reasons that we came out, there was such a desire especially for cinema makers, to play against type in terms of the things that are dramatically, satisfying for audiences, was that a lot of people who were probably, a lot of gigging directors were working in the TV space, and they were probably making these sort of more broader, dramatic sort of films and getting it, content, and once they got the opportunity to go and do cinema, sort of like, I don't have to please the Channel 7 executives anymore with straight drama. I can be dirty and gritty, and we can swear a lot, and we can take drugs, and this is real now. We're doing real stuff.
But that's really interesting too,
but that doesn't exist anymore. The TV side doesn't exist anymore. So there's absolutely none of that sort of dramatic content being made. And I mean, there is, but compared to what it used to be, it's barely existent. So there really is a space, and I think hopefully a desire to see this, Australian speaking Australian, dealing with Australian things on screen in an Australian landscape. It's stupid that it's become rare.
Yeah, and that's it. You would think, especially a lot of these, we use, is it Channel 10 as example, is owned by Paramount and stuff like that. You would think there'd be more potential investment in, especially with all the tax breaks that they get for making Australian content. Netflix talks about having, needs an X% amount of Australian content, whatever else. There'd be room for these free-to-air networks to get, some actually decent... Like you look in England, they have the BBC, and that produces an extraordinary amount of good dramas.
Yeah.
And you would think that there should be a place in Australia for kind of premium-feeling drama to reinvigorate an industry.
Yeah, here they only make, like, MIFFs and, like, reality crap now, so...
but it is a shame.
It is a shame. And hopefully, maybe there can be a new sort of wave of drama back up on the big screen.
It's coming. The Invite's doing numbers. I think that drama is slowly becoming more popular, especially as, unfortunately, the superhero genre is kind of not on its way out. But I think that enthusiasm for it's dropping. Where 5 years ago it was way bigger. So I think.
But it's also the business model is different to what it used to be when there was more drama in the cinema. We used to be able to make, we used to work on dramas that were, a $40-50 million film, say for like, Fred Skepsy film or something like that, or a $20 million film. That part of the business just doesn't exist anymore. You're either making, $10 to $20 million films, or you're making hundreds of millions of dollars of films, because the marketing machine behind it only wants to make something that can be put on 4,000 screens with a massive campaign, and you get most of your return earlier. Whereas dramas tend to need to sit in cinemas longer so that the word of mouth can do its thing.
Yeah.
And they gestate for a long time. And I don't know, we're very lucky that we do have such a strong, quasi-independent space with the Palace and the Nova in Melbourne, that does happen with films, and they are able to support, films other than blockbusters through that sort of a more traditional process. But look, it's always evolving. There'll be something new next time.
On to the editing side of things. I'm always we've interviewed a couple, at least one editor before, and it's always such it's like an art form in and of itself. So like obviously you have like the director and the cinematographer, they shoot the movie, but then you often hear people say that the movies are made in the editing room. That's where everything is stitched together.
It's not a film until it's cut.
That's right, and so it's like I'm interested in like your craftsmanship on this film. I always want to know, like, was there a scene that you just couldn't make work or you had to cut that you think was just awesome, but for some reason it just couldn't stay in?
No, there's no scenes that couldn't stay in because we thought they were awesome. There wasn't a lot of things that were dropped. We sort of restructured the ending of the film, which meant dropping a few scenes, but it also meant shooting a couple of new scenes as well.
Oh. That's interesting.
So how different, without spoiling anything, how different was that original ending compared to the one we got? Significantly different, or just like a couple of details?
No. It's kind of let's just say once the lead character returns from her journey, the first 4 scenes after that moment are new. And there was a completely different way of dealing with her, with her coming to terms with what happened.
Okay.
It still ended exactly this. The last 3 scenes are identical. That's never been any different.
Okay, yeah.
But it's just the sort of the pre-lap to the ending was definitely an area we spent a lot of time on working on. That said, that I mean, look, there's not really any scenes that I pride myself as an editor who always finds a way of making a scene work. There's nothing that doesn't work. You always find a way to get a scene to work. The thing is, though, you step back after you've got it to work and go, but is it working the way we need it to for this film or at this moment in the film? And sometimes even the films are cut together brilliantly and were really easy, but you look at what it's doing in the film, you go, oh, that's actually not right. So I've got to go back in and make it not the way I thought was best and try and find a different approach to it to satisfy that. There's one scene where our 2 friends meet each other for the first time in a combi. And there was a bunch of coverage there that we're really, really keen to make sure that Ali's character felt discombobulated and it was the first cut of the scene basically felt a bit too convenient. And they were just catching up like old friends. Like there was nothing wrong with the edits. It all worked and the performances were all great and they were chosen for, the best idea that I got from the script that I was trying to project onto the screen, but the director hated it because he wanted it to feel far less immediate, far less convenient, and he just wanted the headspace of the lead actress in particular to feel less grounded. So I cut the scene, but I only ever used one angle through the car. There's a ton of other coverage, but I recut the whole scene, so I was just shooting through the door of the car. And she's constantly masked. She's moving into the wrong spots. She's not completely clear on screen, which I guess for my first passes, I try to make sure you can always see and hear people. And it just meant approaching it very differently. I think we found a version of the scene that the director felt satisfied his intention a lot better. But then I suppose the more challenging things that like the first cut of the film, there's a whole bunch of sort of scenes that happen either as flashback or as sort of memory. We don't really define what they are, of a sort of a TED talk that's happening through the film and a nightmarish dreamscape. And they were never played out in the first cut, they were just scenes that happened in the film, but they just felt like they hadn't earned their place in the way that they were projecting. So that's where I started really mucking around with them and making them a bit more abstract.
I think it works real well.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're probably the most powerful parts of the movie for me, almost.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that whole element of kind of that presentation, kind of those little scenes interspersed through the whole movie, they were absolutely amazing. And
they were always written that way. Just the way that they were integrated was probably less frenetic than where we landed with how we present them.
What I like about how that was done is that it separates Kaz.
Yes.
Her professional work from like the scenes you see with her like on the road trip. So it's like you see like the struggle and the journey to record the sounds and all that stuff, and then you see her in her professional mode, and it's like seeing her deliver the knowledge that she has about that stuff on like without the context of how she got there and all that. It's just like this, like you said, it's like a great little TED Talk moment, but it also makes you appreciate the natural beauty you're seeing on screen. Because it's like you've got the importance of, the sounds, the change in the ecological landscape.
The human element that led to the presentation, yeah.
So it ties together perfectly, and it really helps the emotional core of the film.
Oh, great. It's working. Yay!
Yeah,
very much so.
we really enjoyed it, but we're not normies going to the cinema on a Friday night. So this is we're all about these kinds of films. Speaking on that as well, it's making its debut soon at MIFF. How is the reception to any other screenings that you've had so far? You recently had a cast and crew screening. How do you think general reception has been towards this movie so far?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. It's actually been a success before we even finished it. We got invited to screen at Cannes as part of Cannes Market.
Wow.
Which happened sort of in the middle of the edit, which was a challenge. We had to put together sort of a 10-minute reel of the film to show to at the market for distributors and sales agents. So there was a bunch of those along the way that were just like, oh my god! I mean, even getting into MIFF, we well and truly had missed our deadline to get into MIFF.
Oh really?
Wow. Oh yeah, the submissions for it were months ago, sometime in March, I think. And we didn't get the film finished until 4 weeks ago. So it was, look, it's been an amazing, already we're getting such great momentum with it. It's been really well received. And we've also gotten into Cinefest Oz with the film. So it's in competition over there. We were having all this success with the film before we'd even finished it. So you can't help but feel like we're doing something right in terms of connecting with audiences.
100%.
All right. We might go to a very quick break, and we'll be back with Ben right after these quick messages.
Yeah, I'm not sure we didn't get time to get the Atmos mix onto the MIFF DCP, but it should be on the Cinefest Oz one. But then and we are planning on getting a release. We're hoping it'll get 30 to 50 screens here in Australia. So it'll definitely be in Atmos then. Then you just have to find a cinema that plays it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll manage in Melbourne. But, you are back on the Tuesday review, catching the end of our talk about the movie's audio there, just at the tail end of the break. And we were just discussing about how well the movie kind of would sound on a good sound system or a good cinema system with all the kind of the nature sounds and everything else that goes along with it. I guess before we kind of move on from Wilderness a little bit, what was your favourite process of this entire project for you, Ben?
Like your favourite?
Your favourite moment or your favourite part of the whole process?
Look, the last day of the shoot was pretty special. We shot the last week was down on the volume stage at Docklands. So for all the sim travel, all the simulated travel stuff which there's a ton of in the film. We did it all on the volume screen. So, and also all the Moth Cave sequence was all shot on the volume screen as well.
You couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
Good.
Yeah.
we put a lot of effort into making sure you couldn't.
Yeah, that's actually, I want to watch it again now, because I was watching it and I'm like, like we were just saying, like all these big budget Hollywood films that have like all this CGI that we just don't care about and it looks terrible. But I'm watching it and I'm like, they did a pretty good job with the moths and the cave and so
another great Victorian company called Thing Effects did all that work for us for all the moths.
Please don't tell me the dogs were fake too.
They weren't fake, but they weren't very well trained. So a lot of the time that they're on screen, they're actually comp shots.
Oh,
really?
Where they've run through frame at the start of it, and the actors just kept going, and we just retimed them so that they were sitting in the bit that I needed them to sit in.
Yeah. Wow.
And I couldn't tell at all.
I couldn't tell. Wow, that's
masterfully done.
Also,
there's actually there's over 160 visual effects shots in the film.
Wow.
Interesting.
I couldn't tell at all.
What was the hardest one for you to pull off?
Look, the moth cave was really challenging. The deer were very challenging.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're the obvious ones. There was the falling off the cliff. Oh, sorry, giving it away.
Well, we don't know what we don't know. What's off the cliff?
There's no context around that,
that's
so
fine.
that's fine.
That was challenging because that was shot in water, and the actress was in a harness with ropes, so there was rope removal. There's a big camera move, and I did a big retime on it as well. We did a lot of blowing up of shots too, so there's that Sony camera is just incredible, and I think those shots I blew up like 350%. Like were wide. They're wide shots, and now they're close-ups.
Wow.
Oh wow!
And you can't tell.
No,
Yeah, those 8K cameras are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and even finishing at 4K, like we just couldn't. We tested it thoroughly before we committed to, because it would change the way I cut the film if I didn't have access to basically doubling my coverage by being able to blow up shots. So yeah, it was. There's a lot going on to make it look so seamless and natural.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like. I'm sitting here like, man, I'm more of a normie than I thought. I couldn't tell any of this. Normally, we're watching a film and you can point things out.
Yeah.
Not in this case.
I mean, but that's also a symptom of, we'll say, the industry where everything's done quick and nasty and kind of like just get things out quickly. And this was obviously a labor of love. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I think I've come from a background of doing big visual effects shows for a long time, and so knowing how that's also, like you say, things get rushed often in Australia, or they get underestimate the amount of work that goes into it. But that moth cave sequence in particular, which has probably got the most visual effects out of the entire sequence. I mean, that started out on the script. That was a 2.5 minute long scene, and the first cut of it was 7 minutes long and had 38 shots in it. So it became like quite a challenge. And there's only a few parameters you can shift when you're under constraints of budget and time. And and what we did have at that point was some time to be able to help the guys at Thing along. So we turned that sequence over before, I think we're at week 6 of the edit. So we gave them a very long version of the scene, promising them that we wouldn't add shots, it would just get tighter and tighter and tighter. But just giving them that length of duration to be able to develop the look and feel, and just to do the shots properly. That is such a rare luxury in Australian productions. More often than not, the visual effects are a bit of an afterthought, and it's kind of like, well, how much money have we got left? Okay, well, I guess we can do that. And that part, hopefully no one will notice. But yeah, both Matt and I have done lots of visual effects in the past, and so there was we understood the work that needed to go into it to make it sure that it looks seamless.
I actually want to talk about some of your other work as well. But before we do that, was there any, what's the biggest challenge you had on Wilderness?
Getting into MIFF and having to take 6 weeks out of the post schedule to get it ready in time.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting it. And when we did, it was sort of like we had to have a bit of a meeting, like, are we really going to do this? Because that's a lot of work to condense, especially for the sound guys.
Yeah.
And we made that commitment, and it just meant, we've been going hell for leather for a couple of months now, and we had to go to Cannes. We had to go to Cannes in the middle of it all too. Yeah. So
I think it's all going to pay off.
Yeah, well, you did a good job.
Yeah, I hope so too.
So let's get into a couple of fun questions before we run out of time. Unless anyone else has any questions about Wilderness.
No, but before we get into the really fun stuff, the question we always like to ask creatives is like, how did you get your start? Was there a moment that made you think, I need to be in this industry, or something you're like, I really can do this? Like where did you find that you had a knack for it, or like you enjoy the process of movie making, but specifically editing?
I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I'd been working with, I think, Premiere. From when I was in year 9, we had a copy at my high school for some reason. Anyway, I just became the guy, and I learned how to use it. And I just became the guy that everyone brought their films to. And I never knew that was actually a job called editing. I actually just thought that was filmmaking. Because, if you can't put it together, you haven't got a film. So why would you get someone else to do that? that's where you make it. And then, I don't know, it just, eventually I was working at a production company in St Kilda, and and we were working on the first series of Secret Life of Us, and just having access to that world and being a part of, a production, the crazy circus that it is. I think I just caught the bug and found the niche that meant that I could continue working in that space and practicing my craft. And yeah, that was just post-production.
That's awesome.
I was lucky.
Did you have any like formal schooling or, go to film school or any formal training?
I did media arts at Deakin when it was at Rusden way back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was doing media and drama. We actually shot and cut and film at school, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shooting on 16mm reversal on 6-plate Steenbecks. And I think we had a couple of Media 100s that were the digital department.
Yeah.
Do you miss the film or are you just like, nah?
Sorry?
Do you miss the film, working with the film, or you're just like, nah, I'm glad?
No, yeah. We've heard it's stressful.
It's expensive, it's fragile, it breaks. The one thing I will say about it, though, and there was a different discipline of the crew when you were rolling film. Like, once I was there at that transition when we went from shooting everything on film to doing everything on tape, or disc. And, you went from, they wouldn't roll camera until the slate was in front of the lens and sharp. And so action, cut, smack. Now it's sort of like, okay, we're rolling. I don't know. Who's there? What are you doing? Because it doesn't matter. It's tape. And everyone's sort of just a bit, lackadaisical about their approach to it. But with film, everyone needs to be on because it's so expensive to come back and do it again.
Yeah.
Whereas, of the big films that I've worked on, they just roll camera all day. It's just never turned off. Just in case something amazing happens, I suppose. I don't know. But I tend to feel that a lot of discipline gets lost with that, and it's kind of a don't worry, we'll fix it in the edit approach, which bless their cotton socks that they think we're all gods, but it's much better if you get it right on the day.
Just makes more work for you.
Again, just referencing what we were talking about the other day with the president of movies, Tom Cruise himself, on his approach to filming Digger. They shot it on film, and someone said, we'll fix it in the edit in regards to Digger, and he said, no, this is film, we'll fix it now.
Yeah. But yeah, I've always like someone once said, or I heard someone say that if you're shooting digital, like pretend like you're shooting on film. Like you have to have that discipline. Yeah, if you lack the discipline, then everything gets blown out.
It was also a false economy to shoot like that because if you're rolling all day, then your editors are doing nothing but trying to keep up rather than make everything better. It's and. Look, it's all very good for Captain Tom to tell us how to do things, but he can afford to. They can, if Tom decides he needs to pick his nose longer, they can just add a couple of days to the schedule. We're not working on those sort of projects. So the decisions do need to be sharp and quick and, you do need to rely on post sometimes to get you out of a scheduling issue.
So as an editor, you've probably worked with quite a few different software packages to do your job. I'm sure some productions will require you to use certain software or whatnot. Is there a software package that you miss, or like something that you worked with back in the day that you think you just had an affinity for it? Because like things change so quickly in the software industry.
Oh, and what's your favorite generally?
I cut this is the first time I've ever cut anything in Resolve, and I fucking loved it. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
No,
it was fantastic.
DaVinci Resolve is also the Tuesday Review's editing platform of choice.
Very good, yeah.
Yep. But my favorite editing platform was a thing called Lightworks that was around in the 90s. It was the first thing I learnt on. It's the thing that I think Thelma Shoemaker still cuts on it, and Jill Bilcock too, if she still cuts. It was an amazing piece of software. It had a controller like a Steenbeck that so people, or Chem, for those who've been used to cutting on film or flatbeds, the transition was very easy. And it was just so simple. It was just a very simple cutter. It just cut pictures. It had no other special things, but the experience of cutting with it was just like when you were cutting on sprockets. So everyone well, not everyone. The parts of the world, mostly the PAL world. So Canada was big on Lightworks, the UK was big on Lightworks, and Melbourne was big on Lightworks. And the rest of the world went Avid, and it's never been as good.
So with DaVinci Resolve, like, which kind of toys? So DaVinci has a lot of toys associated with a lot of panels, a lot of like little controllers and other kinds of gadgets. Are you a gadget guy, or do you keep your editing process simple?
No, I've got a gaming keyboard that fits in the palm of my hand, and I've programmed just the basic in, out, trim, all my functions. I use the same fingers no matter what software I'm using. So the next job I'm on, I'm using Avid again, but I won't notice because my keyboard's programmed to do the buttons. But yeah, no, I just keep it very buttony. I don't have any jog shuttle controllers or any external things. I used to use a external mixer for audio, but I'm actually quicker just using my mouse now. It's just... I do find, especially as a freelancer, you're going to find yourself in not your own edit suite quite often.
Yes.
So if your setup is extremely complicated, it's just annoying for everyone.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I've always been interested in asking someone who uses this software professionally. Like, as usually with Blackmagic, DaVinci Resolve, they sell the thousands, tens of thousands, $100,000 kind of like add-ons and big editing decks. And I'm just like, how useful is that compared to just using like the inbuilt functions for a basic purpose?
There's absolutely no difference.
Also, don't forget tax write-off.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're fun to have. And I've got to say, if you're doing any color grading, the panels... the color balls that have become the standard forever. It's a much nicer experience to do some color work with those than just clicking. But you can get exactly the same result either way. Get a good monitor, get some good speakers. Way more important.
Yeah, I bet.
Look, and this is, again, we've talked about this with pretty much every filmmaker we've had on the show. Just the entry level for filmmaking is so low now. Like DaVinci's free. DaVinci's free to use.
Lightworks was $250,000.
Oh my god!
There you go. People shooting movies on their phones now.
Yeah, no, the first Avids I worked on, I think there was 40 gig of hard drive, and that was 90 or 150,000 bucks worth.
Wow,
that's crazy.
I was in 1998, 99.
So it's so much more accessible now.
It's free.
To learning the craft than it used to be.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone out there who wants to be an editor or like in an adjacent field, what would you say to them? What's like that one thing you wish you had known?
Wish I had known. Look, you only get better with practice, so you just got to get access to the material and be around the people who are also passionate about this. Find a friend you convinced to be a director and tell them to go spend all their money on film stock. And
looking at you, James.
Just so you've got some material to play with, because the only way you really learn and get to experience things is in solving problems is by going out there and doing it for real. Because it never matters. The one thing I would tell myself is like, the bigger the budget, the bigger the stars, the bigger the thing. It's always it's exactly the same as a tiny film. The problems are the same. A scene comes back, it's not quite what everybody expected. You've got to have some tricks in your pocket to be able to make everybody feel like we've achieved what we need to so we can move on. It doesn't matter what your budget scale is, it's always the same. You get a lot of directors, especially on small films or shorts and stuff like that, who come in and they're going, I didn't have this resource, didn't have that one. It's like, you're never going to. It doesn't matter if your budget's $100 million. There's always going to be something you wish you'd done differently. But, in the edit, you've only got what you've got. So you've got to have, if you want to be an editor, you've always got to have the skills to be able to take what you've got and turn it into what people expected. Or at least convince them that's what they expected.
Have charisma.
Yeah. No, this is what you want. Trust me. It's definitely what you know. It's definitely good. It should be in Spanish and black and white.
This is what Scorsese would do.
That's right. This is what Thelma did.
Yeah. Speaking of, you've done a lot of Aussie indie TV movies and stuff. You've also worked on some, like you said, like bigger special effects driven shows and movies, some Hollywood stuff. Do you have any juicy stories you can tell us? Any famous encounters or,
I nearly got into a fight with Jim Cameron once.
Nice. Go on.
That's also pretty common from what we hear.
I was working on a film called Sanctum that he was a producer on, and he'd come in and have a look at the cut. And it was a stereoscopic film, and this is straight after he'd finished Avatar. I think we were using the same cameras as they were, the pace system. Anyway, he came in to review where we're at with the cut, and we had this. I got this system working where we could actually review the film in 3D, and I was able to sort of keep it up to speed. I was the assistant editor on the film, and anyway, we had the screening. And he was just raving about, I love the way you guys have set up the Avid and you can do this real time. I'm going to steal all this. It's great. And he's like, yeah, you don't really need any more than this. And I said, there'd be one good thing if we could have it. And he's just giving me this it was the first thing I'd said in the whole session. He just gave me this death stare of like, who's this kid and why is he talking? He's just going, oh, yeah? What? I'm like, I think the title too could have like a Z depth controller in it so I don't have to, set the interocular distance manually. I could go in. He's like, huh. And then just walked off.
He was probably like, I know some of those words.
Yeah, or he was either like, I have no idea what you were saying, or he was like, damn, you're right. I shouldn't have
he knew. He's a very smart man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't think of that. Damn it. Yeah,
he couldn't say.
Yeah, no, that was the thing.
Yeah.
He was like, I didn't think of that.
He couldn't let you have it. Yeah, so he just walked away.
I'm walking out of here before he says something else.
Yeah. Look, we are slowly running out of time. We have a question we ask all of our guests. Gut feeling, there is no wrong answer. What is your favourite movie?
Ooh, Star Wars.
Which one?
The original?
Qualified.
A New Hope.
A New Hope?
Oh, excellent.
A New Hope.
Very good.
That was the film that sparked my passion for all things film and visual effects and post-production.
How do you feel about the George Lucas additions to the film?
Changes, yeah.
Oh, the changes to the
Special
original
editions,
cinematic. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I hated them.
Yeah.
I was not a fan. I only liked the first 15 minutes of the last one of the prequels. I've even forgotten what it's called now. Oh, the first ones. I don't know. I've lost track.
The Phantom Menace, the Clone Wars.
No, I'm pretty sure they only made 3 Star Wars movies, but that's fine.
The original series, that's just where I was as a kid. And that's why
we still love
4K
them.
DCP of the theatrical print on my hard drive.
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
you can also acquire 4K Blu-rays as well.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, that's new, isn't it?
Relatively.
I'm old.
Yeah, but no, they are. Well, apparently, if you believe all the rumors, and they've done some showings of the restored.
Oh yeah.
Original theatrical versions of Star Wars.
Well, next year's the anniversary, so
we're hoping
that
if they don't get a release theatrically, at least we can get like a 4K release or something of the original versions of these movies.
Yeah.
Because the screenshots that have been shared online about the restoration process, they look immaculate.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that at least we'll get an original kind of version, a 4K version of the original presentation of the film.
Because for so long we've been denied an actual proper release of the unedited.
Denied.
Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us, Ben.
Where can people find Wilderness, and where can they buy their tickets and go and support this movie?
The film is on at MIFF currently. I think our world premiere is on the 11th, next Tuesday, 6 p.m.
Tuesday,
sold out.
Yeah, that one's sold out. I was just
you can skip the Tuesday review to go see this movie.
Yes. And then
please do. We give you permission.
I think there's still tickets available for the Thursday screening on the 13th, and then there's one more screening, and I can't remember when it is.
That's all right. I got it here. It's the Tuesday, the 18th.
Right.
Please go and see it.
Yeah, so definitely go on the MIFF website, check out Wilderness. You've got a couple, either Thursday the 13th or Tuesday the 18th. You can go check it out.
We'll post everything on our socials anyway.
And Ben, what about you? Can people follow you anywhere, or do you have anything to plug? Or
oh no, I try and keep a low social profile.
That's probably a smart thing to be doing in this day and age.
Better
where
for your mental health.
Everything's toxic online. You don't want to deal with it.
No,
I don't have any of the I don't have any of them.
That's
not on Instagram, not on Facebook.
Do you use Letterboxd?
Letterboxd.
So I feel like no one really knows about.
Yeah, it's like a young people. I don't know.
Letterboxd is like, I guess it's for the youngins, but
I know what you're talking about. Yes, Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Letterboxd. Yes, we use Letterboxd. Do you on Letterboxd? At least no.
I'm not.
That's fine. We'll give Wilderness 5 stars on Letterboxd.
We actually didn't log it because we weren't sure if we were allowed.
Yeah, we're like,
Yeah,
do we review? We probably can't review this until at least the premiere.
Yeah, we have to see if there's an embargo till the premiere. Yeah.
So after
at least wait to the premiere and
Yeah.
and as long as it's positive, we'll be happy.
Oh yeah, no, we'll wait until it's had a showing or two, and then we'll give it a review on Letterboxd.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be so great. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your interest in the film.
No, thank you. And maybe when it's in general release after MIFF at some point in the future, we'll go see it again in cinema. Because this is something I'd like to see in the cinema with the proper sound system, big screen.
Yeah, it's worth seeing.
And
take advantage of those big, beautiful Sony cameras.
That's it. Also, about the MIFF screenings, one of them is at IMAX.
It's at Hoyt's Melbourne IMAX, which is like the fake IMAX.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Screen's still big.
It's going to be big old screen and sound system. So
if there's tickets available, go enjoy it at IMAX.
Yeah, that's the Thursday the 13th of August screening. Yeah. So check that out.
That's about all the time we got for tonight. You can catch a Tuesday Review on some of the social media garbage at Tuesday Review AU on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Newsmask, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Tuesday Review AU. We are on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B _90.
I'm channeldrifter.
Alum is Alum20.
20, yeah.
And I'm Callum Tuesday.
Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you can, wherever you listen for the Tuesday Review. Give us 5 stars. It helps us
reach new audiences.
This is the start of our MIFF coverage.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about MIFF pretty much every week now for the rest of August, I assume.
Roughly, yeah.
Again,
Thanks,
Ben, for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and Wilderness is wonderful, and we hope we can support it in the future.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Great to chat with you.
Yes, thank you, and we'll be back next week. Adios, cousins.